All right, welcome back to the Tailgate Connect podcast. I'm your host, Luke Lord with Tailgating Challenge. I love all things tailgating. In today's episode, we talked to John with Gameday Hospitality, who started at 16 years of age making cornhole boards in his garage to now becoming one of the tailgating giants in the industry with hosting hundreds of tailgating events across the country every single year. Stay tuned for that and how we can get John to jump through a table like Bills Mafia. Let's listen now.
Gather round tailgaters, hear the call, it's game day, y'all. Let's have a ball across the states from college to NFL. Tailgate Connect's got a story to tell.
All right, welcome back to the Tailgate Connect podcast. We got John with Gameday Hospitality checking with us this evening. John, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
And I'm doing good, doing good. Like I met John, I met you it was Houston for
In
the
person
in
for that
person. That's right.
miserable, tornado-ridden
Oh my
day of Michigan
God.
and Washington. But I know we've known each other for a while off and on the internet, back in even some like the Tailgate Giant days and things. I think it's been a little while. So I've been in this
Yeah.
world now for who knows, going on 15 years. So I think
I,
we're all kind of been in
yeah.
that world.
No doubt, no doubt. And so, like, for those that don't know John, like, he is huge in the tailgating scene, game day hospitality. John, like, how many different, like, tailgate locations is your company, like, hosting currently?
So this year's been about 250 events. So we've done 13 NFL cities, 5 colleges. Next year we're pushing 350-ish events in the planning works. We're adding some other places. Certain soccer tournaments coming to North America. So there's some other stuff we're going to do that's kind of high-end premium hospitality
Okay.
more than tailgating, but lots of stuff in the works, core markets, but we continue to try to find and fill these holes for people to have hassle-free tailgating in these markets and a place to just show up to, buy a ticket, have a good time, and everything's taken care of and go into the game. So started out 9.5 years ago in 2016 with Game Day. I had Tailgate Giant and other stuff in the space since 2011 before that, but 2016 is when Game Day started. Now we're going on our 10th year coming up in a little bit. So lots of cool things. I mean, not too many places in America we haven't done something, or there's very few blind spots, especially in the NFL, where we've never done anything or don't plan on doing something. So, yeah, I think pretty much next year nobody will host more tailgate events than us on Earth. I don't think there's another company doing 350 tailgate / pregame events next year. So it's gonna
Well,
be crazy.
with that being said, who would you say, like, is your biggest competitor out there right now?
I mean, obviously on a market by market basis, we have certain competitors, certain places where there's competition. Similar space, I guess, like maybe Bullseye, but they partner with these teams, and I think they're down to 9 teams. They went from 12 to 9, so they've subtracted the last year or two. So, um, they do this. They do the Super Bowl. Obviously, have the massive Super Bowl players tailgate, but I would say probably it's more on a case by case basis on some of these markets, some of these places, and there's a lot of places where we're going up against like the official on location or something like that. But a lot of that stuff's not what we do, and by the time that these teams pay all the different layers that it takes to do something officially, they're in a whole nother stratosphere that's not even a tailgate event anymore. People can't afford it. So, um, I don't know anybody that's looking at doing like 15 NFL teams, 9 colleges next year. I don't think.
Yeah, no, I don't either, which is another reason why I love you and respect all the things you're doing out there because you're bringing that easy button tailgating for so many people, right? They can easily go to so many different events with it. Now, John, I know you're a younger guy than I am, and based on some of the timeline, like, how old were you when you got like some of this tailgating
I
stuff
started
started?
Game Day at 21. I started my first company when I was 16, building cornhole boards, and then that took off
Okay.
and eventually turned into Tailgate Giant. So, yeah, I started 16 in my parents' garage building cornhole boards. That company eventually turned into Tailgate Giant, where we were retailing everything for tailgating. Started Man Cave Giant because it was the similar kind of space. And then, yeah, 2016, I was 21 going on 22, kept getting asked to host all these tailgate events or sponsor these tailgate events. I'm like, I can do this so much better than what's out there at the time. And yeah, we started Game Day from there and started out with Buffalo and Carolina and just kind of built up. And now we're Obviously, going after whatever markets we possibly can, but we have a lot of like friends and certain partners and stuff we work with, places where we won't touch, but where there's some opportunities, we're going after it, or if there's some ways to partner and build it in. I mean, we're not producing 100% of our events now. We have a lot of different partners on certain places and markets that don't really make sense to go at it alone. But yeah, it's been a road for over the last 9.5 years. So oh, it's crazy. I mean, we just thought we were going to create hassle-free tailgating in a couple places. Started Buffalo, started Carolina, and now we're some of these places. Buffalo, we host 2,000 to 2,500 people. We're an experiential marketing company. Essentially, we work with a lot of these brands and get them close to these NFL teams without having to pay the hundreds of thousands of dollars it takes for the NFL teams. So in a market like Buffalo, where they're building a new stadium, and it used to be there was $250,000, $300,000 sponsorships with the team, is now starting at $650,000 next year. So there's these brands that are getting pushed out, and we can, with our millions of impressions in just a Buffalo market and the thousands of people on site and the 30,000 people that walk by and the opportunities to market, we've turned into basically a company where we offer three different things. It's the hassle-free tailgating, the come buy a ticket, come in. It's the corporate group, private group, away group hospitality, where we can host thousands of people. We can host corporate groups. And then it's this experiential marketing arm where brands want to be a part of this. They want to like feel like they're Bills Mafia without paying the bills, or feel like they're in the Steelers market and reaching that audience without it. So some markets we work with team or brands that work with the team. Some markets we work with the opposite, like, and some we do both. So it's like, it's just turned into a way for people to reach that audience. And if you're a brand trying to get, like an alcohol brand trying to get product to lips, like there's no better setting than 2,000 people drinking as many of that drink as they want to, versus like
to lips. I haven't heard
sampling
that before.
quarter ounce samples at a festival, being like, try my seltzer. And it's like, once they try it, they're like, cool. And they throw it away and they move on. Like this, you can keep going back to the bar and getting another one, and people get used to that transactional level. So, yeah, we've kind of built a pretty unique company now and do all sorts of different corporate hospitality production. We do a lot of these away group productions. Like this year we handled Jimmy's Seafood's tailgate on the road, like the Ravens tailgates. We did at Buffalo, we did at Kansas City, we did at Miami, where now some of these other places that we used to kind of consider competitors or people that do these events, we now work with because we're in so many cities that we can handle their whole away schedule if we need to, whether it's in our cities or the places we've done before. And we're on site at Hard Rock Stadium now, something that nobody had been able to touch, where we're partners with Hard Rock Stadium, able to do some things there. We're doing the Orange Bowl with them coming up. So there's been some of these places where it's like, no, everybody's like, you cannot do this. Well, there's no way to do Hard Rock Stadium or do Miami. There's no private property. There's no this. And like, I love that. I take that as a challenge, and I'm like, I'm going to go dig in there and figure out how we're going to make that happen. So,
You're like,
there's
hold
definitely a
my
couple.
beer, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple places now where it's like, okay, like we're told we can't go do this or can't go do that, and we're trying to make them happen. And so, yeah, it's been a grind. I mean, COVID in the middle, where it's like you went back to kind of our basics, but now we kind of built back up to where it was going to be. So, excited for what's going to come next year. We have a lot of surprises in store, a lot of big things we're going to be doing, a lot more opportunities. And now we're a spot where if you're, let's just say Bush's Baked Beans, or like a company where you're like, I want to reach 12 NFL teams. If you go talk to 12 NFL teams and you're like, I want to do one event in each city and all this stuff, the logistics involved, the cost involved, whereas you can come to like us and be like, okay, we'll activate you in one game in each city, plus we can do branding all year, plus we can email hundreds of thousands of people, plus we can do this, all with one sales rep, all with one contact that handles your reach throughout all these cities. So that's kind of been the unique way of monetizing. And these events aren't cheap to produce. It's not cheap to get parking lots near stadiums. It's not cheap to staff these things. So any way we can still make it fan-friendly pricing and affordable, while the money being from brands or whatever it takes to produce these high, and try to make the events the best events we possibly can. Like Buffalo, we have live bands almost every game. We've invested a lot back into these events.
No doubt, no doubt. Again, I know I still got to get to Buffalo personally, and I also want to come back to that here in just a moment and talk some more about Buffalo specifically. But I want to rewind back to the younger 16-year-old John. Cornhole boards, like, where did that come from? Did you grow up just playing cornhole, loving tailgating, or did you just see something like, I can capitalize on this? Like where did that, I guess, love of everything that you're doing come from?
Yeah, so I think I've always knew I was going to be some sort of entrepreneur, own some sort of business. Always wanted to be an architect growing up. Always wanted to design stadiums. Always wanted to be the one to design stadiums and arenas and big projects. And um, was actually doing construction over the summer between my sophomore and junior year of high school for my construction teacher. He had like a construction company over the summer, and we were renovating the defensive backs coach from my high school's kitchen. We're renovating the kitchen, like redoing some stuff, and that coach comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you're handy. Like, I need a cornhole set. Like, can you help me build one or whatever?" He went on vacation for a week. I go back, figure out how to do it. I'm like, "Oh, I made you a cornhole set." He's like, "I don't know. I found one at a flea market. I don't need one anymore." But it just like clicked. Like, that was easy. Like, why don't I just do this? And so just started making them off and on. And next thing you know, it was 2011. So cornhole was at like its peak of blowing up. And next thing you know, I graduated high school with like 12 part-time employees, a warehouse, all this stuff, like, 18. And like, we were just manufacturing thousands and thousands of sets of cornhole boards a year. And basically with like friends from high school in their free time, I'd be like, we do like build days, like we do 2 or 3 days of building, stack cornhole boards to the ceiling, get all the dust up, and then go into like paint mode for 11 out of 14 days. And then go, like we had a full production line going, and we're starting to get some corporate orders and things where we had like the local Caterpillar equipment dealer was like, "Hey, we're sick of giving hats out when somebody buys an excavator for 400 grand. Can we give like custom cornhole boards and things like that?" So we had like Albin Cat cornhole boards and all this stuff, and they were selling them in their stores. And like we were starting to find these corporate corporate brands that wanted to have cornhole boards and things, and that kind of took off. Ended up selling that out to like our competitor and started the retail side. So we were just online retail, tailgategiant.com, had all the tents, chairs, games, tables, all that stuff, and a lot of the stuff you've showcased on your thing. I mean, I think we've both been sent everything possible. Throw this new object at this hole.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was a stretch there where I had a closet full of stuff in my warehouse that was just the new version of throwing something at something. Like there's that stretch there where everybody's like, "I have the next big cornhole." And it's like, no, you don't. Like some of the things work, but like there's only so many throw this at that works, that work. Unfortunately in this space, and I know you know it, like you either have to come up with something really creative that everybody loves, or something that will break every year that Walmart will buy because they want people buying it every single year. Like if you can come up with something that like will just last a season and then breaks in the off season, and then Walmart can sell another one the next year, you're going to make a lot of money. But like if there's not a buyback rate, unfortunately we built cornhole boards too well that there's still cornhole boards from 2011, 2012 we built. They're probably still out there. Like it's not the wild sports and some of these stuff that like just breaks every year. So like there's not a ton of return customers in the really good quality cornhole world. Whereas if you can go sell them other things, and so kind of got out of that space during COVID. Like I had both for a while, but it was just tough. Now everybody started expecting Amazon delivery. Like, why is my thing not here 4 hours later? And it's like, you bought a pool table on Man Cave Giant. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to build it. like you're buying stuff that like is no different than ordering custom furniture where it takes a few weeks or a month to come in for some of these man cave things or some of the custom stuff. So everybody just got to an expectation of, why is this not coming tomorrow? And like, it's so hard to compete with that. And Amazon will sell you the same thing on razor thin margins and make 1% to get it to you faster. Whereas like a mom and pop can't operate on that level. So, and game day became the passion, like the actual running of these events and the energy around it and everything. Like there's nothing like the energy of popping up at 6 a.m. On a like Bills game day or whatever, where it's just like, it's game day. Like you have all the adrenaline. There's nothing that's going to stop you from waking up and like going and managing these events. And we're now at a point where we have the team and the staff around us where it's a production, and I'm more shaking hands, kissing babies at a lot of these events and make like, unless something majorly goes wrong, thank God. Like, so it's just, the people don't realize how much work goes into hosting these things. And they're like, "Oh, you just get to go fly around, go party, and go to sporting events." And it's like, there's a lot more that goes into this than that. And you don't realize how much work happens 9 months in advance, and all these things, and all the prep, and all the permitting, and all this stuff. And like, we have people that are like this weekend we have Bills Browns. You can't serve alcohol in Ohio if you have a permit till 10 a.m. But like, we have a competitor there that's selling a tailgate at like 8 a.m. because they don't care about permitting. And it's like, people are like, "Why is yours starting later?" And it's like, because we have to follow the law because we're too big. Like other people can get away with stuff when, like, if we use the wrong Pantone color on a logo because it's too close to the Peach Bowl logo, we're getting cease and desist. Meanwhile, like, we have competition who's like, I don't know, Georgia versus Alabama SEC
Oh, yeah.
championship
With
on
the logos on it.
CBS with all the logos, and it's like we use the wrong Pantone color, we get in trouble. So there's growing pains when you get too big, where everybody's eyeballs are on you, and like you have to do everything the right way. But you get a little frustrated sometimes. You're like, why does this person get away with serving 2 hours early on a Sunday when it's illegal? Like it's like there's those frustrations, but yeah, there's nothing like this business, and never thought I was going to be in this space. I guess if going back to what you were saying of how
Right.
was this always your passion, like I thought I was going to be designing stadiums and an architect. Instead, we're just making probably a lot more money outside the stadium than what an architect for one of the two companies that make stadiums makes, but like still around it and still get to experience designing and building out these venues and experiences and stuff, and get to see like the
Designing
new Bills
tailgates,
stadium
right?
go up. Exactly. Like, and get to see like the new Bills stadium go up and some of these new stadiums go up while you're in the process. And it opens up a lot of doors when you start to build these relationships with these teams and things like that. And you get to go behind the scenes and see how these venues work, and lucky enough to go on fields and things like that, and get to see the behind the scenes of how the sports world works.
And to me, that's amazing. But to your point a minute ago too, it's like all the hard work that goes into the point where you're able to have those relationships and do some of that stuff. It didn't just happen overnight, right? It's 16-year-old John starting to do cornhole boards and transitioning to other stuff, and then finding the sweet spot with everything to continue that tailgating journey with it. So did you grow up? I know obviously you're really big into the Buffalo Bills now and have one of the best tailgates, if not the best tailgate in Buffalo. Like, did you grow up as a Bills fan, or like who
Oh
are
yeah.
you a fan of growing up?
I'm a Bills fan. I was born in Buffalo. I live in Charlotte
Okay.
now, but born in Buffalo. My whole family's from Buffalo, so diehard Bills fan. That's our baby. Like that's the sweet spot with the markets. We have other places like Pittsburgh's our second biggest market now. We've been in Carolina, where unfortunately you get to the point where you have to balance your fandom with the business, and we have like employees and benefit and things to continue, and like we have Patriots and Chiefs tailgates and stuff now, where as like a Bills fan you're like ugh, but like as like a businessman you're like, we have to be in these
Right.
places, you have to be prepared. So um we weirdly enough have the whole AFC East now, because we do the Dolphins, we do the Jets, and we do Pittsburgh, or we do New England with. So like we have all three of the Bills rivals now where we do tailgates. So you just get to the point where the business side of it is more important. I mean, we'll make more money if the Bills make the Super Bowl than any other
Oh,
team. So
sure.
like the business aligns with the fandom, thank God. But
Right.
like, it's tough as a deep down Bills fan, like every year having, except for this year, having to go to the Super Bowl and like deal with it's the Chiefs again or this or that. So this year should be fun. We should get some new blood in there, hopefully. And I'm starting to like think about some of these matchups, and like if we have
Oh,
like a
yeah.
Bills versus Packers or a Bills versus Bears or some of these like fun, like haven't been in the Super Bowl in a while, like fun fan bases, like there's a lot of opportunities like for that. But this is probably the craziest playoff situation we've ever had mid-December
Oh, I
ever since we
mean,
started game day.
and I love it. As a 49ers fan, I'm like, Bills Niners would be fine with me too. Like, I don't know if the
They
Niners are
might
going to make
continue
it
the
all the way there,
trend
but
of the home team hosting the Super Bowl. That's a possibility. It's happened a couple times the last couple of years with Tampa doing it and with LA doing it. So it's not out of the question. Yeah, the Niners will look good. I mean, the Niners could be in it. The Niners could be out. Like
yeah,
there's the Bears are the 2 seed right now. They could be out. Like we don't have as much on the NFC side right now. We do Denver with a partnership. We do Patriots. We do Steelers. We do Bills on the AFC side. So we have a lot of stuff going on the AFC side. But like looking back to last year, first week of December, I had my flights for the playoffs booked, because it was like, okay, the Bills are either the 2 or the 1.
right.
Book all the Buffalo flights and then a KFC or KC flight just in case for the AFC Championship. And like that's what it was. Like right now, it's like this year you could very realistically have the 5, 6, and 7 seeds win their games, and the 5 seed could host a divisional round game in the round 2. You could have a divisional team that hosts the divisional round in the AFC Championship as a divisional team, like, or as a wild card team. So, like, it's like the Texans could be the 7 seed, and they might be the most dangerous defense on the AFC side, and might be able to go into New England and beat New England, and then now everything just goes wild. And the Steelers or the Ravens, whoever wins that division, they're probably the worst team in the playoffs on the AFC side. So you have a lot of these top teams that are going to have home playoff games that might not be the best teams, and You have the Patriots who have played opponents that are like batting 300. Like their schedule is like 3-10 or whatever right now. So it's like on average. So they played like every worst team in the league, and they're going to be a 1 or a 2 seed. So there's a lot of craziness going on. You could have the Lions, who are a damn good team, not even make the playoffs.
Yeah,
One of these NFC West teams might not make the playoffs. One of these NFC North teams might not make the playoffs. So there's just a lot of craziness going on, and who knows? We'll see how it kind of whittles down, but a lot of new blood there. But then there's these teams like the Niners and the Rams and things that have been in multiple Super Bowls the last 10 years that are sitting there. And the AFC is kind of wide open with it being the first one without Brady, Mahomes, or Manning.
I know that it's
since
so
98.
weird.
So
It's so weird. Like I'm going I'm going to Denver game this weekend, right? Doing the tailgate and everything up there with it.
it's gonna be a great game with Jacksonville.
I know.
Jacksonville versus Denver. It's gonna be are the Jaguars for real?
I guess we're gonna. I mean, some people still say, "Are the Broncos for real?" With I mean, I feel like they've won 11 in a row. So I mean, they feel pretty real with it as much as anything can this season in a very strange NFL season with that. But let if we shift back over to like the tailgating aspect, like with Gameday
Yep.
Hospitality, if somebody were to pop over to Tailgate Connect to get a ticket for one of the different venues you all host out there, what can they expect? What does that look like?
Yeah, it obviously varies a little bit different market by market, but we're just trying to create the best, like, hassle-free tailgate experience. Show up, all the food, drinks, everything taken care of. Certain places, like, it's even crazier, like the top end with Buffalo, where we have the shipping container bars and the live wings on site and the live bands and things like that. But we try to like create that experience everywhere else. It takes a little bit of time to catch up, but you expect somewhere in that like 300 to 1,000 person range for most markets, and everything kind of taken care of. We have some sort of option for private group tents, things like that. If you want to have your space, kind of like renting a cabana at a pool in Vegas or whatever, where it's like, here's my space within the bigger event. We do a lot of the private group tents, but not just like the Revel XP type, like rent a tent and bring all your own stuff.
Right.
Still, like for food and drinks, like everything's taken care of. And yeah, I mean, we've built up hassle-free tailgating in a lot of different places, and all your food and drinks is included everywhere except for in New Jersey. We have some crazy laws at MetLife. So New Jersey, it's all cash bar, but we have like reasonable prices for the food or for the drinks. All your food and everything's included. It's just New Jersey state law there. So you're a lot cheaper than a Manhattan bar where you're going to go buy $25 cocktails. I promise you that. But everywhere else, we're able to do the all-inclusive alcohol, things like that. But like I said, state by state laws are all crazy, and you learn the hard way. And
I'm not even familiar with that. Like you're telling me something, I was like, I had no idea, right? And again, going back to like some of the stuff you have to navigate and learn.
Yeah, so New Jersey, if you have an alcohol permit, you're not allowed to do an open bar if it's promoted to the public. So like if you have a wedding, you can have a closed, like if you have a closed list event, a corporate event, things like that, but once you sell a ticket to the public, it's illegal in the state of New Jersey to have an open bar. You can't even pre-sell a single drink. Like we can't include one drink ticket by law. Like there's just crazy state by state things you learn. Some of these places, like you can't serve alcohol till X time on certain days. And like we do the SEC Championship, we do the Peach Bowl, we do all this stuff in Georgia, in Atlanta, but we don't do the Falcons because you can't serve alcohol till 11:30 on Sundays in Georgia with a permit. So you can't buy a Bloody Mary in the Atlanta airport at 10:30 in the morning on a Sunday. The whole state of Georgia. So it's just like there's different laws everywhere. They used to be 12:30 and they took the time to change the law and they changed it to 11:30. So they spent all that work and moved it up an hour. Like most places had gone to 10 or 9 a.m., but like they want you in church and it's the South and like it's just a different era where coming out of Prohibition, they created all these crazy alcohol laws and they just never changed in some of these states.
Yeah, no, I used to live in South Carolina, so I'm familiar with some of those blue laws and everything we had back in the day over there for sure. But
still to this day, I'm in Charlotte. I'm in city limits of Charlotte, North Carolina. South Carolina is 4 miles from me. Both states you cannot buy hard liquor on Sundays from a liquor store. Still to this day, like North Carolina's all state-run liquor. South Carolina's at least not state-run liquor, but neither of them are you allowed to go buy a bottle of vodka, or even like now with this era of Surfsides and Sun Cruisers and stuff like that, you can't go buy those on Sundays. You can at a bar, but like if we run out of vodka at a Panthers tailgate, there's no going to buy more vodka.
You're done.
In either of the states, like you're done. Like you have to be prepared until Monday. So in South Carolina, their liquor stores are still 7 p.m. every day. And there has to be a separate side for wine. than the liquor. Like completely, like they have these 2-sided stores still. Like
Oh yeah.
there's some crazy rules in some of these places, and they're trying to loosen them up in some of these places, but it's still taking a long time.
Sure. Sure. So if we go north now and head back up to Buffalo, one of the things that a lot of people think about at Buffalo tailgates is how many tables got injured and broken at a tailgate. Like, is that a prevalent thing still, or is that just kind of you see a few on social media? It's not, they don't do it that much other with people jumping and smashing these tables.
So the Bills Stadium holds 73,000 right now. I would say 110 to 120,000 people tailgate. I would say 20 tables break. It's just you see the one that goes viral on social media, the one that's on fire on Barstool, and you're like, oh my God, this is in Buffalo. And over 9+ years of Buffalo, I think we probably had like 12 break at our event, and it's usually an away fan that just goes and breaks a random table and thinks they're like, it's like, what makes you think you can buy a $60, $70 ticket and break our $100 table? Like, it's just like, we have it in our terms and everything. Like, our insurance hates it, our parking lot owners hate it. Like, most of the lots and stuff have banned it. Like, they don't want these. I mean, God forbid anything happens. Like, those metal bars in the middle of the table aren't necessarily like the night. Like, anything could happen. Like, I don't think you want to be stabbed in the stomach by one of those metal bars in the middle of the table, but I don't think that's fun. But like, our competition on the road and Buffalo and some of these things, like they really force people to, like, they really push the table breaking things, and like people are scraping their face and hitting their head and stuff. I just don't want to be liable for somebody that hurts themselves and stuff like that. I think it's dumb. We've done a couple stunts like with sign waivers and things like this year we had Kraft Heinz come to us and they're like, the Kool-Aid Man, we want to do these like crazy viral videos, like put the Kool-Aid Man in random places, and we want them to like they literally want the Kool-Aid Man to appear at this concert, appear at this. And they're like, we thought Bills Mafia tailgate. So we had these like, they had these like red tables that were like pre-broken, but they're real tables. And like, we had the Kool-Aid Man come in, they shot a commercial at the tailgate, like jumping off our stage through the table. But every single time we have done this, whether it's somebody I know, a famous person, the Kool-Aid Man, the Bills lose. So we're done with it. Like, that was the Bills-Patriots game, Sunday night game earlier this year. The Kool-Aid Man goes through a table, the Bills lose. Our friends in Atlanta are stunt people with the movie industry there. The next week we played in Atlanta, and our friend like went through 2 tables off this thing, like, cause he's a stunt man inside and everything. The Bills lost. So like, it's just bad luck right now. So I think we're done with it for now. But, and we can't have 2,000 people looking at the nearest table. Like, when somebody breaks the table, we have to like shut it down very quickly, our security and stuff. Cause you can't have everybody else being like, I want to break something too, and have nothing. Like, I just don't think it's that big of a thing. We always have like the person on live chat throughout the week, like, my son's 10th birthday's on Sunday and he really wants to just break a table. How can we make this happen? And it's like, go buy a table and do it on somebody else's property. Like, like, I don't want to be responsible for your 10-year-old like busting his head open on on the ground in our parking lot. But like, I'm kind of with Josh Allen. Like, he says he'll go through a table at the Super Bowl parade. So if we win a Super Bowl, break as many tables as you want. Like, I think Brandon Beane, the Bills GM, the coach, all of them are like, we'll go through a table when the Bills win the Super Bowl. So I think he said he'll jump off one of the parade buses through a table, is what Josh Allen said. So like, that stuff, whatever. But I don't even know really when it started. It was just somewhere in the end of the drought years. We had that 17-year drought, and at some point that was the entertainment we came up with. And I just remember that first playoff game when we ended the drought. We played in Jacksonville for that wild card, and people were like checking their tables as like their second free bag on Southwest. And there's these like folding tables at like the carousel and things like that. And like, it was going viral. And I don't know. I think over the years of winning, like, I think the craziness and the people that used to try to entertain themselves has kind of died down. So if you come to Buffalo, you'll see a little bit of it, but I mean, now it's gotten so publicized where like the CBS pregame crew comes through and has these like duct taped pre-broken tables, and they're doing it for a stunt, and it's just ridiculous now. Like, because you get all these like big networks that are like, well, you can do it, but you have to have the pre-broken table and this and that and all the like. It's just I think it's kind of gotten depleted over the years. I would say there's less and less every single week, and I think you get more of it on the road now, where the Bills go into places and the home team's like breaking tables because Buffalo's there. I think they're trying to like fit in. Like, you're starting to see like, we'll see if we haven't played the Browns in Cleveland in 6 years, so we'll see on Sunday if the Browns fans are like, they missed out on the table trend and now they're all excited to do it again. But Based on the ticket price on Sunday, I don't think any of the Browns fans are that excited to go to this game. So
I mean,
even though
but
Myles Garrett can set an NFL record for sacks in a season. So like,
I mean,
they're-
that is pretty cool, but not against the Bills, probably. You want it to be against a different team, maybe, right?
I mean, when we put Mitch Trubisky in the third quarter, you can sack him a couple times when we're up by 30. Yeah.
So, John, is it fair to say, am I hearing correctly, that if the Bills win the Super Bowl this year, you're going through a table?
Yeah, I mean, I'll help put Josh Allen through a table, whatever we're gonna do. Like, if he needs help, I mean, I'll go through a table. If the Bills win the Super Bowl, there's a million things I can do that are probably podcast friendly, but like, there's a million things I would do to guarantee a Super Bowl at this point. Like, it's all I really want. Like, it's just gotta happen. Like this, we can't be wasting the talent of Josh Allen and not win a Super Bowl in this era. Like, there's just somebody, and if there's ever a year, every quarterback that's beaten Josh Allen in the playoffs is out of the playoffs right now.
That is true.
So,
that is true. The
it's
stars may align. You
Mahomes.
never know.
It's Mahomes. It's Mahomes. It's Burrow. Beat him once, and Deshaun Watson technically beat him once when they lost the Texans Josh's second year. So the quarterbacks that have beaten Josh Allen in the playoffs are not in the playoffs. So, and that's Mahomes every time but two. So, the guys that have been, and if you look at Josh Allen's playoff stats, like by the game average, by like playoff per game average, it's like the highest ever. Like the touchdowns, the yards, that like he becomes Superman in the playoffs. He's not the reason we've lost any of these Super Bowl or any of these playoff games. So we'll see. These are some damn good defenses in this playoffs though. So we'll see how the Broncos and the Texans and some of these defenses play. But I don't know. I think this is the year. Whether they have to come out of the wild, maybe this year they have to come out of the wild card and they don't get the home playoff games and they have to go a different route. But we'll see. I'm if they have to go on the road in the divisional round, I don't hate coming up your way to Colorado to Denver so I can go get some skiing in and sneak in some of my ski days there after.
Hopefully
right after.
so, because I'll come down for that game too. We can just tailgate in.
Yeah, I mean, we're prepared right now for no matter where Buffalo goes, no matter where Pittsburgh goes, no matter where some of these teams go. So, should be fun. Hopefully, we get to find out a little bit more, and then this weekend and next weekend. Unfortunately, now the Bills to win the division, we're rooting for Quinn Ewers for the Dolphins to beat the Patriots, or some. I forget the guy's name that's starting for the Jets, but we're counting on these like 7th round rookie quarterbacks because we need the Patriots to lose one more divisional game, so to win the division. So it's not looking great.
I mean, it's been a weird year. Anything could happen. I feel like with the football I've seen so far this year, but I wouldn't bank on some of those quarterbacks winning against New England. But let me ask you this, John. So I'm assuming if I said which fan base are the best tailgaters out there, am I assuming if I say Buffalo, is that putting words in your mouth, or is that a fair statement?
No, it's Buffalo. I mean, I've been around every stadium. I've been in the game to all but 3 now current stadiums. So like I've seen tailgating everywhere. I mean, it's Buffalo and then it's everybody else. I think it's like a college atmosphere. It's just a different animal there. I mean, there's some other good tailgate cities that do it really well. Like some of these, like the Kansas cities and some of these other places that do a good job with it. Some surprising ones, like the Ravens are really, really good at tailgating, both on like our all-inclusive type tailgate level and on the regular tailgate level. But yeah, I mean, there's some places that just don't do a good job at all. Like there's some places where it's just kind of sterile. And like I know you've been to a lot of places as well, but we try to replicate what Buffalo is everywhere else. Unfortunately, not every fan base is like Buffalo, and no matter how they play is going to show up. And the NFL gets more and more expensive for a family of 4 to go and things like that. And you can go buy a 85-inch TV now for like $400 versus like some of these games you're talking $1,500 for a family of 4 to go. So you really have to. There's a lot of people that just go tailgate now, and they'll just go tailgate like. In a place like Buffalo where it's in the suburbs, there's people that go tailgate for 3 hours and then go drive 10 minutes back home and watch the game. So, because you can.
This
like some
guy
of these cities,
right here, I do that all the time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you're in like the MetLife Stadium parking lot, you might not make it back before the game's over to New York City. Like there's some of these places where you're going to sit in traffic for longer than some of these places. And I wish that we could get that culture going everywhere. I mean, there's some of these places where like we do New York now and like the Jets and Giants right now. It's like nobody wants to go to New Jersey to watch their losing team right now. Like it's a very thin market. but like we do a lot of the concerts and stuff there and things where people go no matter what because it's New York City. So it's just figuring out each place. Every single city's so different. No two markets are the same, and like no two fan bases are the same. And we kind of try to tailor everything to those fan bases. But some cultures like we have Detroit this weekend. Unfortunately, like when there's games like this, it's cold out. It's a 4:25 game. People want to watch the other games. The tailgating culture just depletes down because you're in the middle of a city. There's bars to go to. There's things to go. People would rather go sit in the chain restaurant right there and watch on a million TVs and walk 2 blocks to the game because they're already going to. Nobody wants to go tailgate outside in the cold and then go into a 70-degree dome. When there's
I'd
other
be
games
cool with
on.
it personally,
You do.
but I know Bill different.
No, I'm not saying nobody. I'm just saying like it sucks. It sucks how we have some of these markets and stuff. Whereas like the Buffaloes and the Pittsburghs and stuff like that are doing it in whatever weather. It doesn't matter what the weather is. They're going to show up and dealing with some of these transplant markets and stuff too. Like we've done Carolina just as long as we've done Buffalo. Like next weekend we have the Seahawks here. Like the Seahawks are one of the best teams in football, but 90% of Charlotte's a transplant from somewhere else, and they all go home for Christmas, and they're all like the city's empty for a December 28th game. So, and they're playing for something, and like they have meaningful games going on, and it's like
playing for something in that game, right? Because they're relevant.
Both teams are. The Panthers play the Bucs, the Seahawks, the Bucs. Like all three of those games are very important. They have to win. And if the Panthers end up winning that division, it's probably gonna be the Seahawks coming back to Carolina. So you could have Bucs, Seahawks as the next 4 Panthers games because the way it's gonna work out. So, yeah, there's a lot of meaningful football going on, and which means meaningful tailgating. Like I know most tailgates like should be no matter what, but unfortunately there's the point where people just it's too cold to make excuses, and there's those markets where they're fair weather, not just for the team, but like it's 40 degrees out, it's 30 degrees out. Whereas in Buffalo, we've had tailgates where you have to put your beer on the fire pit to make sure the beer doesn't freeze because it's -6 out and people are still out. Like so, it's just different cultures, and not everybody grew up dealing with whatever weather it takes to go see these teams play, and we have to deal with it. I mean, the wind, the this, the that, like some of these places get 40-mile-an-hour gusts, 50-mile-an-hour gusts, and you have like hurricane force winds, and people are like, why aren't all the tents up? And it's like because it's 50-mile-an-hour winds off Lake Erie, like it's just like there's certain things, the human element, the weather elements, things like that. That's the one thing, unfortunately, we have not figured out is how to change the weather. So we're working on it. You can't change the team's results, and we can't change the weather. We're working on it, though.
For sure. Well, John, let me ask you a few questions now to just your personal perspective. I know you are working hard, like at all of these tailgates, making sure things go flawlessly for the customers. But let's just say in this scenario, you actually get to chill. You get to relax for all of this. What would be on your plate? What's your favorite tailgating food to eat?
Okay, let me think about this for a second. I mean, I feel like the go-to in most places, like the barbecue, like the briskets, the things like that. We have some really good wing places, stuff like that. Obviously, with the buffalo element, like some of these wing places. I would probably just go with, I would say barbecue in general, like brisket type barbecue. At an average basis, I think that's what we probably have the most. And I would say like a good quality barbecue is kind of the go-to and what I'm looking for. But there's a lot of events I forget to eat. Like it's crazy because we're just so running around with your head cut off busy, and like somebody will come up to me with like, eat, go sit in the corner for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to eat for the last 4 hours. Like, so, like in Buffalo every week, I don't want to keep just talking about Buffalo, but we do like a wing eating competition. And there's like times where I'm like on stage while we're doing the wing eating competition. There's a tray of wings sitting there, and I'll just like grab one off the tray, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to remember to eat. No, I would say probably like some of the best food we've ever had is probably the brisket barbecue, things like that. We do a lot of barbecue cities like Kansas City and things like that where we have really good quality barbecue.
So you mentioned wings there. So are you drums or flats personally?
If I'm at a really good wing place and they're perfectly crispy, I think a perfectly cooked drum is the best. But like most places, I think don't know how to cook wings properly and don't make them crispy enough, things like that. So I obviously flats, but I mean, I'm not going to turn down good quality wings, both options. Yeah, there's been some funny interactions over the years. It's amazing how much interaction you get on our Buffalo account if you just put like drums or flats or whatever.
Oh
Like
no,
back
it's
when
crazy.
Stephon Diggs was on the Bills, we had like asked like Isaiah McKenzie, who was one of the Bills receivers at the time, like we asked him like drums or flats, and he said drums. And like Stephon Diggs got in a Twitter argument, like you dirty ass eating drums, this, that, and all the receivers were going at each other in our replies, like and there's some people being like, well, Stefan, you like flats, he likes drums. Why don't you guys go get wings together and you can split them? Like you got the, hey, you guys are a perfect pair to go hang out together because you can't each eat both. But if you're at Barbill or one of these really good quality wing places, like it there's nothing like it. Some of these places have started charging like crazy fees for all flats or all this, like, to do the, like so many people order all flats and they're stuck with all these drums. So they started like charging like $3 per order for flats. But what about you? Are you flats or drums?
I mean, like you said, I'm not going to turn down either one. I'm going to go with the flats, though, when asked the question. There was just a little bit more than the drums, but again, I'm not fighting anybody over it either.
Yeah, and of course, like the same comes with the rancher blue cheese. Like in Buffalo, when it's the really good quality, like homemade blue cheese, compared to this watered down stuff you get at some of these restaurants, and like the real good quality blue cheese is better than ranch all the way. Like there's some places in Buffalo you might get kicked out of the place if you even think about asking for ranch because like how good quality the blue cheese is there. So yeah, I think that's probably the angle there with yeah, you have to go the blue cheese. And we obviously serve both in all of our places because there's people that don't even don't know, but a perfectly cooked drum blue cheese. And
Got it.
and when you go to
All right.
Buffalo, don't go to Anchor Bar. There's 277 better wing places.
Wow. Okay. You just throw in some shade here. All right. Shifting gears over, what's in your cup? What is your favorite drink to have at a
Okay.
tailgate?
Okay. I'm a big like whiskey Coke person. I feel like I'm more like whiskey, like what, whichever. I mean, obviously we have brands and stuff like that we work with, but like whiskey Coke, I would say generally if I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna drink, and I'm gonna have like a whiskey Coke, things like that. I
Right.
think more than ever. Surfside such sun cruisers a close second. Like those that's the kind of trend right now is those vodka teas, vodka lemonades, those kind of drinks are. Those are like you can have like 16 of them, and you're like, oh wait, like you forget that you're like just pounding them because they're so good and they're so easy to drink. So,
Right.
um, uh, in the right scenario, it just depends where we are. But yeah, I would if I'm in at one of our tailgates, the go to is some sort of whiskey Coke, and the bartenders just know if I like point and like do this, like they know what to bring over at this
Give me
point.
the usual, right?
That's the nice thing when you host these events and things like that, and that's one of the benefits is you can just kind of like like this that like and we've gotten pretty good at doing these things. And as we do these events and stuff, we have former players and all these different things we're hosting. I'm more in the taking care of sponsors and former players department than the actual ops anymore on site, hopefully. So um it helps to be able to cut the line and grab a drink when you need to. What about you? What's your go-to drink? Just so we know we have it ready for you next time when you finally
I'm
come to
I'm usually
Buffalo or one of
like,
these events
hey,
that's not a miserable weather
I don't turn down a
national
lot of free
championship.
drinks, for it, but again, I'm a craft beer guy, right? So again, like
Okay.
having a local IPA is something I'm usually going to gravitate towards. Like if I have options, one of these tailgates. But if somebody's like, "Hey, Luke, like this is like the mixed drink you gotta have. Like it's local, it's cultural for this. Like you got," it's like, yeah, let's go. Let's taste it, right? Type of deal. But usually, I'm looking in the cooler for a local like craft beer that maybe I couldn't get out here in Colorado or something to expand my flavor palette, so to speak.
There's some crazy like regional drinks and stuff. Like you'd be surprised how these Ravens fans like the orange crushes and stuff like that. Like they have like signature drinks where they just pound them like left and right, and like we pre-batch and pre-drink. We started doing like our Buffalo crew started doing like Mafia margarita or something like that this year. It was just like a twist on a margarita and things like that. And they're like, we're running out of this, and this because we're just pounding these all the time. And
Right.
so we started doing that where some of these places like Hard Rock Stadium and stuff where we have to deal with the stadium vendors. They're like, well, what should we do? And we're like, well, pre-batch a ton of this. Like we just started doing like a signature drink at each event and things like that. But you'd be surprised, like some of these places just they have a cultural like this is our drink and they all drink it. And there's some really interesting like science behind what people drink and stuff like that. And we've learned like, okay, this team's coming to town, get the blah 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 ready. Like
Right.
you're like, oh, we really need this drink or that drink or um and it is very regional, like a lot of these places and what people drink. And everybody's always going to drink the light beers and the vodka sodas and the basic
Right.
stuff, but there's a lot of regional, like, we're playing a Southern California team, make sure there's more tequila or whatever it is. Like, you start to like regionalize things.
Sure. All right, we talked about games obviously a little bit earlier. What is your favorite? You've played a lot of games, obviously, like I have. What is your favorite tailgating game? If you could pick one.
Uh, geez. Um, I mean, obviously there's the classics, the cornholes, the like giant Jengas, all that stuff. Um, my dad's always like gotten on me and stuff. He goes, I don't know why you guys are all trying to sell all these different games. There's one classic tailgate game that's the best. And he's like, it's just a football. Like just having a football, just tossing the football around. And Bills Chiefs this year, we had to sold out our biggest tailgate ever in Buffalo. And all of a sudden somebody starts throwing a football around the crowd. And like we have these shipping container bars, we have rooftop decks with private groups, all this stuff. And next thing you know, like football's getting tossed around. And when you have a bunch of people that are drinking and not paying attention, it's probably not the best. And people that don't know how to throw footballs, it's probably not the best thing. But it was a lot of fun. I was on stage at that point where we're just ripping the football back and forth, like passing it around. So, I mean, there's nothing like just tossing the football around. But the classic games, the cornholes, the things like that are always a lot of fun too. I don't get to play as many games anymore. It's a lot of. It's been a while since I've like, as somebody that hosts a lot of these big produce tailgate events, it's been a while since I've been like behind an actual tailgate sitting there like with 12 people and playing games. So that's just the nature of the beast when you build these bigger events out. But we try to find some unique games. We've gotten away from a lot of the throw the frisbee, throw the ball, throw the stuff too far stuff when you have this many people. But we have the classics, the giant Jengas, the cornholes. Unfortunately, a cornhole set 4 people can play and it takes up a lot of space. Is the unfortunate business where it's like a
full game in too, compared to some of these games.
A lot of time. There's a lot of lines that build up when you only have a few cornhole sets, and people are like, "We got next," and then these guys are pros out there, like going alternating, cutting each other off, like
point. So it's like 3-2, 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and you have like the tailgate's over before anybody else gets to switch over. So we do a lot of like the giant Jengas, stuff like that. We did something this year with Papa Shot. They'd created this football toss game. So we had Papa Shots, like football toss games.
I haven't tested it yet, though. I need to. What do you think about that game? Did you play it?
I mean, they're pretty fun. I mean, it's just a new version. Get your tool set out. There's a lot of pieces. Let's just say that if you do get set one or you do have
I'm
one.
looking at it over here for a similar one, just with their basketball one I have down here in the bay. And I remember it took me just going solo by myself with no help. It took me a little while to put it together. So you're not lying in that respect. I mean, again, it's probably one of the games in my every time I walk by, my wife says, every time he walks by the Papa Shot game, he always has to take a couple of shots. I'm like, yeah. And I'm going to keep on doing it because it's fun.
It's like when you're a kid and you have the basketball hoop on the back of your door, like you're just taking those shots all the time or shooting stuff into it. But yeah, then there's some unique stuff that are like tailored to different sports too. Like we're getting ready to do all this World Cup stuff around the games in June, July. And like we have those sub soccer games or like those like table game where you have the soccer underneath and you're kicking back and forth and things. And like some stuff we're trying to bring elements into. I think we're going to have like some of the FIFA video games, stuff like that, people playing, like working on some of that stuff. So we try to find unique ways to do it. But when you have these big bulk events, it's tough to mix in as many games. And unfortunately, like we have these games that come to us, like we're the next, we still have we're the next cornhole or we're the next this, but they're like, it takes up 40 feet and it's this, and you're throwing a football and this and that. And it's like, well, we can't have that with 1,000 people here. Like, but yeah. I mean, the classic cornhole is probably the winner there to that question you asked 10 minutes ago.
Perfect. Who is your favorite Bills player of all time, current or former?
Ooh. Are we talking just best or just like favorite?
Whoever resonated the most.
I mean, it's right now it's hard to say anybody but Josh Allen just because of what he's done for this team and taking things to the next level. And great guy, down to earth guy. Been lucky enough to become close with his family and everything. And it's wild now where I'm in a world where, like, growing up, I was born just after the 4th Super Bowl. My dad would talk about Andre Reed and Thurman Thomas and all these Jim Kelly, all these guys, and now they're like friends. Like I Andre and I text about things and this and that, and we've had him at the tailgates and events, and it's like it's weird to go from that like fandom, like, oh my God, that's so and so, to like, oh, what's up, Andre? How are you? Blah 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 blah. Let's go get
What
wings.
up?
Like, it's just like once you get to know everybody as players. On the opposite side too, like last year, I was lucky enough to have credentials for the Super Bowl and was on the field at opening night, and the footage will never get released. But like we asked, we did put out a video where we asked all the Chiefs fans their favorite Kansas City barbecue, or Chiefs players all their favorite Kansas City barbecue place, and the Eagles players all their favorite Philly cheesesteak spots. But there's that moment where like you want to hate the Chiefs, but like they're all just cool guys, this and that. And there's
Yeah.
me like dapping up all the Chiefs players and stuff after interviewing them. And I'm like, that footage got cut and it's never going to get posted. But like you get to know these guys and like these players, and they're humans. Like they're cool people to be around and things like that. So there's some fun players from the drought though. I mean, like Stevie Johnson and some of these guys that have played for the Bills that are a lot of fun, and gotten to know them over the years. I mean, I would say, I mean, right now it's Josh. That's the easy answer, but there's a lot of fun players over the years for the Bills, and yeah, I mean, I just Josh is. I mean, the numbers he puts up, what he's done for Buffalo, and probably keeping the team there. Like, I don't know if they invest in a $2 billion stadium without winning and Josh Allen and things like that to keep the team there for the next 30 years. So just the impact he's had on it, there's nothing like it. But there's been so many like cool, fun players over the years for the Bills, and there's a lot of fun, like awesome people on this team right now, and some of those guys that were in that bridge era too, where they made the playoffs with the team in 2017, 2018, things like that are now the ones that come back. Are a lot of fun as well. Who's your favorite Niners player? I mean, you're a Niners guy. Who's your
Joe Montana. Like, that's the reason why I grew up. I was an
Okay.
80s baby. So, like, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. I'm looking at Jerry Rice sitting me back up when I was a kid. I sent him a letter and I was like, can I get a signed photograph? And I'm sure it wasn't him that mailed it, but he probably signed a stack. And I still have it framed in the basement over here. So, yeah, Montana to Rice combo is what had me as a kid. And, you know, one of the things is like, once I'm with you, like, I'm with you for life, good, bad, or ugly type of deal for it.
I used to try to argue the Montana over Brady as much as I could, because I just could not stand Tom
Yeah,
Brady.
I don't
all
even
those years,
argue
but
that
it's
because
just tough.
I Brady, like, all of respect to him, I mean, totally different types of game, like, you know, from the time Brady was playing to when Montana was playing. But it's like, I'm not even gonna. I feel like Joe Montana is probably
One
one of
went
the best out
undefeated in
there.
Super
But
Bowls. One went 4 for 4 in Super Bowls. One didn't. So,
yeah, I mean,
no,
I'm not never gonna put down Tom Brady because, again,
I'm a Notre Dame football guy too. So
okay. Well,
obviously
then you're really big Montana guy then over
like
there.
you try to rep Montana. We got screwed out of the playoffs this year. I mean, that was crazy. Like, I was in the middle of
Yeah.
Bills Bengals, and I didn't even like pay attention. Like, our team was putting all the bowl games and stuff up. We're getting ready to do 4 out of the 6 college football bowl games and for the playoff bowls, and so they were all working on that day. After the game, I was like, wait, Notre Dame didn't make it? Like, I assumed they were the 10 seed because they were in it that whole time. And yeah, it's crazy how, like, who knows with these college games. But we're getting ready to do Orange Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. So it'll still be exciting. But like, when your team's just like the first team out, it's just like so hard to get into the college bowl games and things like that. And
Yeah, for a casual fan, like, I won't say casual. I'm a Gamecock. Again, we sucked this year, right? For lack of a better word, with it. But it's like,
yeah.
I don't really care who made the playoffs at that point if it wasn't the Gamecocks. But it's like, to be like Alabama, like, I even did a short video on it. I'm just like, not that I
The
have anything
Alabama
personally
shouldn't have
against.
been in it.
Yeah. Now again,
I agree.
Alabama, like,
Miami, Notre
sorry.
Dame, you can argue all day long because Miami beat them in week 1. The Notre Dame going on a 10-0 run, not losing to those bad teams, dominating every team they played, and only having lost to A&M by 1 point and Miami by 3 points. And Miami was your first game with a freshman quarterback in Miami in a hostile environment, and you lose by a missed field goal. Like Bama at 3 losses. I mean, it's just, they were the first team to not drop after losing their conference championship in the history of this playoff. Like, even when it was a 4-team playoff, if you lose the conference, you're at least dropping 1 or 2. And when all of a sudden that last week, when all of a sudden they flipped Bama and Notre Dame, you knew they were setting something up where if Bama lost, they were going to just like, oh, we went from 9 to 10. Whoops.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, but, and that's another thing with these events and stuff, like the college football playoff expanding's made these the ability for people to travel and go to these events and tailgate and do these things is just, it's tougher and tougher when you went from maybe making a semi and then the championship and going to 2 games. Now all of a sudden you might have to go to 4 games. Like as a Notre Dame fan last year, I didn't go to the on-campus game, but I went to the other 3 games. And like you're traveling to New Orleans and back, and then Miami and back, and then Atlanta for the championship. Like some of these fans, those middle games all of a sudden aren't as intended as when it was these standalone bowl games. And now you have some of these smaller bowl games where like the Boca Raton Bowl is now presented by Bush's Baked Beans. If you bring a $2 can of beans, you can go to the game for free. The first 2,000 fans that bring a can of beans get to go to a bowl game for like $2. And it's like these non-playoff bowls have just been depleted down to nothing, where it's like they're literally like, bring a can of our product and
we'll let you in the front door because we can't sell the tickets anyway.
or like you had this bowl, that Gronk whatever bowl, whatever in LA, presented by Gronk or whatever last weekend, and you have people on 6 days notice having to, like, the bowl game was 6 days after they announced the bowls, and there's 3,000 people there. Like there's nobody in SoFi Stadium, and it's just, and it's 2 West Coast teams, Boise State playing Washington, and like I don't know, I wish these bowl games and stuff still meant something, and like a lot of them don't. But the playoff, I think, is a way better situation than a couple of years ago when it was the 4-game playoff and you were the 5th team out and you're screwed. I mean, last year number 7 and number 8 went to the championship. Notre Dame and Ohio State won. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like we could do a whole show just on this topic alone, with the landscape of college football from NIL to the playoffs and bowl games. And I do believe that, like,
to the ACC having some teams play 9 games next year and some teams play 8.
I hadn't even heard that. Like, so that's news to me right now.
There's 5 teams that are only going to play 8 conference games next year, and the rest are going to play 9 because there's an odd number of teams, because they only have 17 teams or something like that. So they can't. And I don't know how they're going to. They already had the worst tiebreaker system this year. I don't know how they're going to do it if somebody's 9-1 and somebody's 8-1. Who gets to go in when you only could play 9 games?
But Rock Scissors, boom, got it.
There's some crazy stuff going on there. Now you have these super conferences, and it's kind of killed these conference title games, at least for us. Like, we used to love doing the SEC Championship, the Big Ten Championship, the ACC Championship, and there's divisions, and Georgia could win the SEC East the first week in November, and we knew, like, okay, we have Georgia for the next 3 weeks to market and produce these events. Now there's 9 teams alive for the conference champion 6 days out or 7 days out, and it's like half of them didn't play the other half of the teams, and you don't know who's better than who, and it's just, you're going to have these mega conferences pretty soon, where it's going to be these 20-team conferences, and you have an Indiana and Ohio State where they went through the whole year without playing like the same similar teams in the same conference, and now, like, you're like, I have no clue until you got to the conference championship who's better, and you still don't know. Maybe like Indiana might have just gotten unlucky. So, who knows?
And that was a really good game, though. I wouldn't be mad at a rematch if that were to happen. I thought that was a really, really good game for the championship for those two.
Oh yeah, and they stuck at 1 and 2, so that could be the championship rematch. And Georgia looks very, very good. Texas Tech, we'll see how the Big 12 stacks up against these teams. And you have JMU and Tulane in some of these games where it's like, you don't think they're going to win, but who knows? Like, JMU could go into Oregon and upset them. Like, there's a lot of craziness that could happen. And Oregon has played one tough game all year, and it was against Indiana, and they lost. So, like, you don't know, like, maybe JMU could beat Oregon. I don't know. Like, it's just the unknown of college football. So we'll see lots of tailgates, lots of events and things to come up. And we have to pay attention to all the stuff that's going on in sports, not just the focusing on the tailgates, because there's so many different opportunities when these teams win or lose.
No doubt. Well, John, let me ask you one more question before we wrap up here. If you could go back in time and give advice to the young John that was 16 years old building cornhole boards, or something you've learned over the course of your journey that would have helped him out, what would you tell him?
Oh, geez. There's so many, like, there's so many times where, like, you ever just like think about something and like it's a moment where, like, why did I say that? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Like, you just have like those flashbacks and like the 15 years later embarrassment of like, why did I say that? Why did I do this? I don't know. I think there's just things you learn as you build a business and as you grow about the markets and and how to market things, how to brand things, how to build things, how to do it, where it's like you look back and you're like, wait, I did that. There's nothing specific. There's no one thing, but I think it's just the wealth of knowledge I have now on this world and the market and all the connections and everything I have. And you never know who you're talking to or who you're working with. And like, you just have to like shake everybody's hands, be nice to everybody, like interact with everybody. Cause meeting one person 15 years ago could lead to 4 connections later from that person being who you need to make something happen. And there's so many things I trace back to. I'm like, well, that was a really stupid business idea that I did, or this or that, or invested in this or whatever in the tailgate game era. But it's like, I met so-and-so who eventually introduced me to so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And like, the only reason you know this person is because 7 connections ago, you talked to this guy. Like, and it's a very tight-knit world, even the tailgating world, the sports events world, the whole sports travel world. Like, most people know each other. So it's all about connections, and if I made some of them sooner, who knows? But I think it's more just, you never know who you're going to talk to. You don't know if somebody's going to try to spite you later because, like, oh, that guy never gave me a chance. Like, he just blew me off that one day I met him. Like, it could be positive or it could be negative. You can meet somebody that could be the next reason why you get this deal done. And especially now that we're working with all these different brands and sponsors and things. And it's like, you never know who you're talking to. And we have a sales team and stuff now that handle a lot of it, but it's still about connections. And there's still a ton of people that, no matter how big we get, and we have people that do things, I still get the text or I still get the calls because people are just like, well, I know him from 5 years ago. And it's like, can you talk to my guy that does that now? But like, you want to still, I can't do everything anymore. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just all about connections and how you manage these relationships. And you never know. There's some crazy things out there like that you never know just from responding to something, or interacting or just taking a shot, who's going to be out there. And like, we're doing a series that got bumped to next year, but we're doing with Sean Merriman's Lights Out Productions. We're going to do these live tailgate shows and things like that. And
Oh yeah, no,
last year,
I was wondering about that, so I'm excited it's still on the radar.
it's still on the radar, but like last year, what happened was we posted about Seattle, our Buffalo at Seattle. Eric Wood, my friend, collabed with it, like who was the Bills' old center, who's our play-by-play guy. Like, Sean Merriman liked it or something. I think we followed him from Gameday Buffalo, and then he slid in our DMs. He's like, I'm coming to Buffalo. I'm shooting this tailgate show as a test run in a couple weeks. Like, can we work out something? And next thing you know, like 20 minutes later, my social media team's like, this guy Sean Merriman, I don't know who it is like in our DMs. I'm like, let me handle this. And like 20 minutes later, we're on the phone and like we talk, blah, 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 blah. And all because he liked a post we collabed with a player, and we're like, oh, Sean Merriman exists. I forgot about that. And like, now we talk all the time, and like we've worked on these different things, but like, there's only like, it's all about connections. And he's one of those guys where he has an MMA fighting league. He has this, he has that. I think he's the only person where on any given day, like me and him had lunch at the Super Bowl last year, and his next meeting was Roger Goodell. So it's like, he was meeting with the commissioner. He has a line to like the president of the United States, like no matter what side, like I think he's the only one where it's like, he could in any second text me, the commissioner of the NFL, the president of the United States, Dana White, and him talk every week. Like, there's just people that just know everybody, and it's like, you never know who you're going to meet and become like close with and things like that. There's so many different connections and stuff where I feel like once you know 10 guys in the NFL, you're one text away from all of them. And so being able to like, hey, we're trying to get this guy this week. Like, you text X NFL player, like so-and-so, and like, they're like, oh yeah, I remember him, blah, 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 blah. 10 minutes later, you're in a group text with so-and-so. So, and we've done a lot of these international trips now and things with the teams going international in the NFL. And we have these former players host, and you just get to know these guys, and you're hanging out in Brazil and Dublin and all these different places with former players, and you're grabbing lunches and things like that. And you really get to know these guys. And, all of them just want to, like, a lot of these former guys just don't get that opportunity to interact with fans anymore and want to be a part of the community and feel like be a part of it again. Like, last year we had Doug Flutie, who played for the Bills. He was the legend of the game for the Bills. He came to our tailgate. He's a drummer in a band with his brother. So we had him on stage with our band playing drums at the tailgate. Couldn't get him out of there. Leading up to the week, he's like, I don't know if I want to come to this thing, whatever. We couldn't get him out of there. Running into him at the Super Bowl, and he goes, that's the most fun I've had, like, at a stadium since I retired. Like, I got to be around the people and this energy and all this crap. Like, and these guys just want to be a part of it. And there's players like in Buffalo, George Wilson, who I've become close with. He played for the Bills for 13 years. And like, I had forgotten, like, oh, he played for us, but he came with Merriman last year. And now it's like every week he does the Bills post-game show now. He's like, can I come by? Can I bring in this guy I played with from 10 years ago? I want to show him like this and show him the players. And they all just want to be a part of like that community and stuff again and be a part of the fans. So it's really cool to get to know a lot of these guys and make these connections. And yeah, now it's crazy where these guys used to idolize stuff growing up and things like that, and now they're just phone contacts. And you're like, oh yeah, forgot about so and so. I got to shoot him a text real quick. But like, you never think like tailgating would lead you to like be in the Rolodex of some of these people. And Yeah, it's kind of a crazy world, and we do a lot of content interaction stuff and things beyond just these events, and try to interact with these different fan bases. So we have some pretty cool stuff coming out. We have a reporter in Buffalo, Michael Schwartz, who we just partnered with, who's going to do some longer form content for us for game day. And he was just the first reporter to go to Josh Allen's family farm in California and like go see where Josh Allen grew up and like go on the pistachio farm and like interview every single person in his family. Like ESPN hasn't done it. NFL Network hasn't done it. And he's doing it for us. Like we're going to have long form content on our YouTube channel and things. We're going behind the scenes of the players and like trying to create this new content. So we're not just posting, come to our event, do this, do that, go Bills, whatever. Like we want to create this content and stuff around it. So you never know what's going to lead to that. So like that, we're doing a full like premiere. Like we're going to do like a whole premiere in Buffalo with a theater and stuff to come watch the Josh Allen documentary. And it's like roots of an MVP. So like there's these crazy things where it's just, you never know, but getting to know like the Allen family over the years and hosting them for away things and stuff, like they trust us and they trust the reporter and stuff to go film and not do anything that they wouldn't want to. Whereas when ESPN or NFL Network comes in, you never know what they're going to use, how they're going to chop it up, what angle they're going to take, things like that. So there's some pretty cool. Dion Dawkins for the Bills is doing this like drifting stuff. It showed on Hard Knocks where he's doing car drifting and stuff. He's like, we're going behind the scenes with that. So we're trying to show the whole game day experience, the whole sports world, the whole audience for these different markets. And there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more from this. It's not just tailgating. So it's pretty cool.
No, I love to hear all that. And one of the main things too, back to the question that's very sage advice probably for everybody that's listening to this is like, work your connections, like treat everybody like they're the most important person in the room, because you just never know. Like that person might not at the time, like, oh, this person's nobody, right? But they could blow up and be somebody big, and they're going to remember that conversation that you had or maybe didn't have with them at some point. So just treat everybody kindly is what I took from that.
Yeah, and you never know who you're talking to. It could be an agent, could be this, could be that, could be somebody that's a family member or a friend or somebody. They're like, oh, I saw this or that, and you never know where things are going to lead you and the opportunities you're going to get. There's a lot of things that happen. Like we're very on social media, public, things like that. But there's a lot of things that happen, events that happen, interactions that happen that are very much behind closed doors and things when you get to know a lot of these people and have relationships. And just because we're not posting about it doesn't mean it's not happening. And like, that's how you build the rapport with a lot of these people. And like, you get trusted to go hang out and play golf and do this and do that. And like, there's stuff that happens on the golf course that's not what's the public persona of these guys. And so it's pretty cool to get to know the behind the scenes and the real people in this world and the former players. So just be nice to everybody. Try to network and get to know as many people as possible. And you never know what's going to lead you. And obviously, we need to get you out to a tailgate at some point. It might be, I guess, Bills at Denver is probably our best bet if it happens.
It can happen.
That would be divisional round potentially, maybe AFC Championship. So we'll see what happens. Are you going out to Santa Clara to Super Bowl or not yet? You don't
maybe know. Again, still working some connection. I'm trying to get my Rolodex built like yours one day, sir. Over here for something like with Super Bowl related and National Home Gating Day and all that good stuff that happens on Super Bowl Sunday. But hey, you never know where our paths may cross out there. But John, tell me this, like as we wrap here for it. So this is our last show of 2025. This is it's going to be our longest episode so far. And I feel like I could talk to you for like 3 more hours and still like pick your brain with all the awesome stuff you have like with your journey. No, yeah. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that like you're just so easy to talk to and have so much like awesome like tailgating knowledge and behind the scenes stuff.
You can cut out all the fluff.
No, we want to leave it all in there. Well, I think so. But John, tell us one more time, like, for the people that hung on to the end, A, we appreciate you all for hanging on to the end and listening to the whole conversation. But B, like, if people are looking for you, tell them about your socials, tell them about the experience, tell them why they need to come to Gameday Hospitality one more time to help with their easy button tailgating needs.
Yeah, I mean, there's again, nobody's hosting more tailgate events the next year. We have these hassle-free tailgate events experiences, multiple different markets: Buffalo, Carolina, Cincinnati, Kansas City, New England, Pittsburgh, all over the place, New York. Miami. I mean, there's a bunch of different places. We're in Ann Arbor and some of these college towns and stuff now. We have some fun concerts and stuff. We don't just do the tailgates. So we have a lot of these country concerts and stuff coming up. But follow at Gameday Hospitality on all social media there. We have the individual accounts. So if you're a Broncos fan, you want to follow Gameday Denver. If you're a Jets or Giants fan, you want to follow Gameday New York. We have the personalized accounts to each of those cities. So we're not just bombarding you with everything all the time. Nobody wants, unfortunately, on the main socials, if you post about the Bills, 90% of the people are like, hey, screw the Bills. We like the Steelers or this or that. So we try to have the localized accounts and on the social side. But check out our website, gamedayhospitality.com. And we're on a bunch of different platforms, including Tailgate Connect there. There's a lot of different places you can go buy our tickets. So, and lots of cool things to come. We just announced our 2026 Game Day Goal Zone pre-match hospitality. We're doing it in 9 out of 11 U.S. cities that are hosting. So that's gonna be a little bit higher end, but there's premium stuff before some of these matches and all the way through the final there at MetLife. So lots of cool things to come, lots of concerts, lots of different events and stuff. And then stay tuned. We might be coming to your market sooner than later, whether it's with one of our home teams or on the road with some of these road teams. And for the playoffs, we'll be there, and then we'll be announcing our Santa Clara stuff pretty soon. So for the big game, and no matter who's in it, hopefully we get a fun matchup. It could be my Bills versus your Niners or something like that. And,
That'd be
you guys can win. You guys can lose another Super Bowl. You guys can lose another Super Bowl, and we can finally win ours.
We've been doing that recently, no doubt about it. But again, if we made it again,
not the Chiefs this time.
Yes, I think that's if we get a couple of fresh teams, even if Niners don't make it, we get some fresh teams in there. I think that's what a lot of people are excited about for it. So, again,
there's some fun ones out there.
Yeah, no.
There's some fun teams out there. There's a lot of fun
really
teams, fun matchups, and young quarterbacks, young players, some good defenses. So it's not going to be Eagles versus Chiefs this year. So we'll get a new fun. It's not going to be one of these. We're gonna get a new matchup, and should be a lot of fun. And then we do a lot of things like the Final Four and things like that for college basketball and stuff. For not just football. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll see you soon in one of these cities. I get to like 60 of our events a year. I'm bouncing around flying all over the place, all over the world. So you got a lot of craziness, but there's days we have 8 events in 8 different cities. So I'll be at one of them. So we'll see you around.
Excellent. All right. Well, John, thank you so much for jumping on the Tailgate Connect podcast this evening. Because again, just like you all, we are the easy button tailgating solution. We got the tickets for all of John's events out there as well, too. So www.tailgateconnect.com to hook up those easy button tailgating tickets. And you might just see John and have a lot of fun at one of his events that he does. Thanks for tuning in tonight, everybody. See you at Tailgate soon.
Tailgate